to the Soulfire Podcast, where healing is raw, truth is sacred, and your story gets to burn and rebuild in the same breath. I'm Power Coach Alishia, pattern breaker, soul mirror, fire starter, and the unapologetic voice of the burn it down and rise anyways revolution. We don't fluff your wounds, we don't filter your truth, and we don't water down healing so that people stay comfortable. You've spent way too damn long proving your worth to people who only love the version of you that stayed small, quiet, and convenient. If you've ever swallowed your truth to keep the peace, shrunk yourself to stay chosen, or disappeared in your life, this season isn't just a reset or another motivational podcast. This is where you reclaim your voice, your fire, and your fucking self. I'll give you the truth that heals, frameworks that hold, and soul codes that will change how you live, lead, love, and rise. Lovey, come forward. It's time for you to embody your wholeness. And I'm not only leading this season, I'm living it right beside you. Let's fucking go. Honestly, I wish someone would have told me this sooner. When I think about it, it makes complete sense. But I didn't know how powerful it was. I didn't know how important it was. And I didn't realize it's the center of your soul and feeling good and joy and happiness and bright light love. Without this, you basically die slowly inside. And that's emotional regulation, because emotional regulation is your superpower. And we are continuing through the series of energy and energetic boundaries and protecting and amplifying this energy. And what's so important for you to understand is that power is how deeply you can stay with yourself. That's where the power comes from. Not how loud you are and how much you give and, everybody's seeing you or shrinking back or being quiet. It's none of those things. It's how deeply you can stay with yourself, even in the most trying moments, to give in and to succumb. It's like once you learn to regulate your emotions and choose yourself, it's so much easier to make decisions because you know that that's the decision that you need to make for yourself and the greatest good of all when it comes down to it. Sometimes in the moment, it doesn't always feel like the decisions that you're making when you're making them for yourself is for the greatest good of all. At the end of the day, though, when you understand that when you make the decision that is best for you, then you show up as a better person in your life and with more love and patience and understanding and respect and value and honor for the people who are closest to you, it's a ripple effect. It might not directly impact and affect the person, circumstance, or thing that you chose yourself over. However, there is a ripple effect to the people that are closest to you. So a big thing for me is that I used to, oh my gosh, scream and yell, and it was huge. That was just the way that I expressed myself, and that was the way that I don't know. That was my passion. That was everything. And my kids, my oldest used to think that was proof that I cared. And then it was like I trained my partner to respond only when I was frustrated, not when I was calm and asked nicely, And it was like, if I didn't scream and cry or yell and spiral, it seemed like they didn't hear me or like they didn't feel it. And that comes from something we talked about in a previous episode of chaos being connected to love. I didn't consciously measure love and chaos. However, it's love as a young child was wrapped in a lot of chaos and anger and abuse. And so therefore, obviously, that became part of my belief system, unbeknownst to me, right? And then what would happen is there would be chaos around love and like issues and collapsing. And it looked like that in the collapse, there was the connection. And so I attached chaos to love and collapse to connection. And so when you have that kind of link there, you subconsciously create that in your reality. Whether you want it to be or not, whether you're paying attention to not, it just is. The thing about the power that you get from emotional regulation, though, is there isn't performance there. There's breath, there's space. And one of the biggest things that I had to learn is that my calm was my healing. And there are still times where I want to go scorched earth over being calm. And I realize that now I look at that and what I'm doing is weighing the impact of the scorched earth. Is it necessary for me to protect myself in the future because of past situations that have happened? Or, rephrase, is it worth the emotional regulation, the energy realignment, and, or said differently, is it worth the emotional dysregulation or the nervous system dysregulation, the energy misalignment, and being out of my own soul rhythm for me to go scorched earth to protect myself in this moment from this person, from this situation, because it is required, because my calm has not helped. So there are times where I'm weighing, is this a moment for me to be calm and reset myself because I feel my nervous system firing because I want to immediately default to scorched earth? Or is this the time that scorched earth needs to show up because my calm, my niceness, and my calmness is not being fucking heard, and I am going to pay for the calm, kindness, and niceness in another way? I might as well go ahead and go scorched earth, then realign my nervous system, regulate it all, realign my energy, get back in my rhythm because I made that choice, rather than have my calm constantly interrupted because a person keeps taking that action because they think that they can. So now I'm working on choosing what's best. And I generally choose calm. I generally choose forgiving and peace and understanding and connection, which is so different for me because my default mode is scorched earth, you know? So I'm working on defaulting to calm and choosing calm. However, I'm also being very mindful when that calm has, been obliterated. When you're talking about your emotional regulation being your superpower, the way that you react or reacting is not resonance. Just because someone throws something at you doesn't mean you have to catch it. Just because someone throws something at you doesn't mean you have to catch it. You could dodge it. You could do that like whole shoulder back thing, right? And lean back and like let it go past you. You can like squat and duck and let it go over your fucking head, right? It doesn't mean that you have to catch it. You always have a choice on what you're doing with what's being thrown at you. And there are going to be things that you're dodging and missing and ducking from and letting it go past. And there are going to be things you're going to catch, throw it back and say, this is a boundary, right? And it's knowing when to do which. And here's the thing. How do you know? Your body tells you. Your breath tells you. Your soul will be asking, can we just stay with us for a moment? Or your soul will be screaming, fuck no. This is not okay. And here's what I really had to learn. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to think. You're allowed to breathe. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to choose from a place of survival a place that's softer rather than a place from survival. You get the choice of that. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to breathe. You're allowed to just wait, right? You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to choose something softer. It's okay to give yourself permission. You don't have to move right then. In the last 6 weeks, I have been challenged by some different situations. And listen, Queen, if this episode lights something up, don't just sit with it. Come rise with us. The Soulfire Podcast is your weekly reminder that healing isn't about fixing who you are. It's about remembering who the fuck you've always been. And if you're craving more than just words, if you want community, authentic power, momentum, and soul transformation, then I want you to come join us in the free star-guided soul healing community. This isn't another group. It's a vortex of women who are done pretending, who are reclaiming their power, their voice, and their divine assignment, and who know they were never meant to do this alone. Inside, we speak truth. We rise with soul-coded frameworks like Rise x3 and AUA, plus your own soul-coded values. We break patterns, we burn illusions, and we build empires because we rise. So come be witnessed, come be held, come be at home. Check out the link in the show notes. And please remember to subscribe, share, and send this podcast to a queen who's ready to rise. Now, back to the fire. One of the biggest things that I've been challenged with is, am I going to choose peace, love, understanding, safe space, connection, and protection, value, honor, and respect? Or am I going scorched earth? Now, I'm not going to go into the topic of this. Maybe one day in the future I will. After it's all completely passed and I can articulate it in a way that no one would really be able to get it unless you know the actual story, because I've told you. But here's what I'll say. What I'm being handed to decide whether I'm going to go scorched earth or choose love and light is something that I promise you that is so fucking important. That is unchangeable, and that must be dealt with head on. Otherwise, it can destroy a lot. So we're not talking about going scorched earth because the dishes aren't done or because someone says something stupid like your partner says something dumb. We're talking about going scorched earth over something that's worth fighting for. And I believe that about 92% of people would agree that it would be worth going scorched earth over. Basically, everyone in my life tells me that it is. But instead of doing that, I've held the ground. I've held my center to the best of my ability. But you know where I fucked up? Our theme this month is energetic. Our series this month is energetic boundaries. And then our theme is protecting and amplifying your energy. You want to know truthfully where I have fucked up? How much time, energy, and attention that I have given the person and the circumstance and the situation. Because one thing that I haven't learned is how to be the calm, the love, the light, all the things that are the higher vibration and frequency through a split decision. I'm not quite yet to the point where that's made in a split decision or even like a 5, 10 minute, 20 minute, or you know what, I'm just going to let this sit and then let the universe let the divine give me my answer. Like, I haven't learned that yet at the time that I'm recording this. So I am thinking about all the angles. I am ruminating over what was said. I'm pulling it apart, or what was done, pulling it apart. I'm looking at it from all angles, from the fair side, from both sides, from the duality, from multiple perspectives. I'm weighing in with my board of trusted advisors that are physically in my life that I can run things through and get their perspective and, get things from a higher view, maybe a lower view, a side view, whatever, seeing these things from a different angle, because you can only see what you can see. And I'm very big on seeing things from as many sides as I can, even if the advice that's given is shit. I'm pretty good at going, okay, I'm not going to fucking do that. but I can see what your point is, where you're coming from, what you meant by that, right? So I have spent a lot of time, energy, attention on my course of action, how I'm going to move, what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do, what is really going on here, what am I missing, what do I need to see, what do you see, what do you see here, what do you see there. I've spent so much time on that. Now, when I say time, energy, and attention, that's what I have spent. Have I cried? No. Has it impacted me emotionally? No. Has it impacted the way I view myself, my worthiness, my confidence, my ability? No, 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 no. Now, as far as emotion's concerned, it hasn't hurt my feelings, but it's pissed me off because it's highly disrespectful and it's just not something that I accept in my life and that I'm willing to put up with. However, I see myself as being, calm, love, light is almost like accepting it. Scorched earth makes it clear I don't. But calm, love, light gives that ambiguity of like, well, maybe this is okay. And I'm always willing, rewind. I am willing to do the love and light and the calm and chance that you might think that it's okay to do that, because the alternate or the other side of that is that because I was the love, light, and calm, you go, okay, I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to choose better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to be better. Right. So that's my benefit of the doubt. That is me seeing the good in people. That is me coming from the side of, I'll let you show me who you are and then I'll believe you. But even if you have a mishap, a misstep, a bad day, a wrong moment, a off moment, I'm willing to still give you the benefit of the doubt. So what I've learned is there's a threshold to that. It's like, okay, I have came from this angle once. I've came from this angle twice. I've came from this angle. Let it happen again. Now you're going to get what you get. You're going to hear what you hear. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. It's going to come out the way it fucking comes out. No diplomacy, no tact. I don't give a fuck, right? I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with the fallout and what happens from that as well, because that's the kind of person I am. If I'm making that decision, I'm going to deal with the ramifications. So what's my point here? When you come from this place of breathing, feeling into your body, asking like your soul, can we just stay here for a moment? Pause, breathe, allow the space to think. You can come softer. Or you can decide, no, fuck that. This is where I'm coming from because this is what my soul calls for. So the other part about this is when you pause, when you breathe, when you create space, when you give it time, when you allow yourself to feel, your higher self will come through. When you take action for yourself that is powerful, your higher self will break through that because it's like a lifeline to speak to you, and you'll hear in download form. Maybe, sometimes people feel, I hear it, and you'll hear the message. I got a download and it said, oh no, man, I need to take you back to a moment and I need to show you what really happened. This was my download. Okay. No details will be given here. Just the point. You'll get the point. In the download, my higher self said, step the fuck back and pay attention. Rewind, watch the tape, pay attention to every single fucking thing. Hear the words, pay attention to the energy, think of what was going on, what happened, the action, blah, 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 blah. This is not okay. We're done. And it's time for you to do something. And I'm like, oh God. Here's me on a 4-hour phone call. Here's me talking to my advisor team. Here's me figuring out what to do. And then here's me going, this is it. I've wasted 20 hours of energy on this, which I could have done so many other things in that 20 hours, or so many rituals and things I could have done for my soul, fucking shit I could have done for many in the this and that time. There's so many other things I could have done. So what I got from that, next layer was like, put a timeline on how much time, energy, and attention you are going to give to this thing, this person, the circumstance, situation, a time limit. And if it goes over that time limit, let's say by double, it's okay. At least you don't end up in 20 hours. Okay. So I realized I got to put a time limit on this. I can't do this anymore. I'm done with 4 hour, 5 hour, 3 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, whatever conversations um, around this. But I realize it's now a boundary for myself in anything that I need to, talk to an advisor about, address, connect with myself on, whatever. And when I say an advisor, these people can be anybody in your life that are a voice of reasons, who see things from an alternate perspective, who will always hold space with you, but will always tell you or hold space for you, but will always tell you the truth. And they are people who have your back. So it is, you want it to be unbiased, but you want it to have, that, your advisor team, or even if it's just one person, to have all of those things, because you don't want to go share something with somebody and the only thing they ever do is have your back when they need to be willing to tell you the truth when it matters most too. That is really, really, really important. So with that being said, that came out and I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I put time limits on it. Okay, next thing, you need to take this action, you need to take this action, you need to take this action. But also, when you are taking this one action, understand this is where you're coming from. This is your stance. This is where you're unmovable. This is your non-negotiable. And this is what your move is based on what happens when you take this action. Okay, cool. Got it. So now I have the download, all the information, my higher self going, wake the fuck up. No, ma'am. It's time for you to show the fuck up. Okay. Okay. My higher self was clear. This isn't about love, light, and calm. This is about choosing you at all costs. Because every time you did love, light, and calm, you did choose yourself and your calmness and your peace of mind, but you ended up paying a price for that you suffered from. So higher self says, nope, not doing that this time. It doesn't matter who the fuck's on the other end. All right, ma'am, I heard you. So it doesn't matter that I'm not giving you the details of anything, because you can hear the process. You can hear the power, right? You can hear the protection. You can hear what happened. I'm giving you everything you need to know. So today, which is the day before you're hearing this episode, more than likely, but it's the day before this episode launches, there was a hard conversation that I needed to have with someone in my house. And I was like, I'll give you 20 minutes. I've started doing that. Now, if the conversation goes 40 or an hour, then that means that it was full of value, honor, and respect of ourselves and each other. So I'm willing to let it go a little longer because we're coming to completeness. We're getting to a space. So 20 minutes was my set point for so I could check throughout. Is this conversation healthy, or is this not something that my time, energy, and attention needs to be part of anymore, right? I think the conversation went close to an hour, I would say. My timer did go off in 20 minutes, but I checked in with myself. I felt good. My nervous system felt connected. I felt centered. I felt calm. I felt present and like I wanted to continue. So I did. I used that timer as a check-in with myself to see if this conversation was good for me, or was this conversation throttling my nervous system? Okay. I go through a lot on any given day. I hold a lot coming from multiple different angles, multiple situations, inside my house, outside my house, over here, over there, this, that. Um, there's, a lot coming in and, from these different places. And I'm grateful, and I am at peace with it, because I know that my purpose in this lifetime, in this timeline that I'm in, is that anything that I go through that is challenging and a trial and frustrating or whatever negative, my whole purpose here is to transmute that into education for people to save themselves. And that's what I have done my whole fucking life. And so instead of fighting against it, being frustrated and mad that it happens, like, why can't I have a break and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, I just honor and I value it and I appreciate it, because it is my purpose. It is my mission here. It is what I was born for. It's written in my soul blueprint birth chart. Like, that's it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm here to be miserable and unhappy and blah, 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 because it's what you do with it, right? The whole point of what we just talked about is, reaction is not resonance. Reaction is not being there and present, right? Like we just said, just because someone throws something at you doesn't mean that you have to catch it, right? So there's that as well. I could step out of the scene of the lesson and the growth and it's stepping into what I'm meant to learn so that I could transmute it into power for people to save themselves. I could step out of it and go, you know what? I don't have any desire to learn this lesson. I have no desire to go through this. I have no desire to give it my energy, and I'm out, right? I can choose that too. So don't get this twisted. This isn't a victim pity. This is my life. This is I'm here for it. I've been here for it my whole life. I'm here for it for the rest. I'm, here to learn. There's a reverend at my spiritual center that says, like, I'm not done learning, or maybe it's a practitioner. I'm not done learning. I don't know. It doesn't matter, right? There's so much more for me to do here. There's so much more work for me to do. There's so much more for me to learn. And that's how I feel about it. So I welcome it and I embrace it and I do whatever I'm meant to do with it, or that I feel that I have the capacity and the ability and willingness to do with it. And I rock forward. And that's just what it is. And regulation is so powerful because it's what lets you love without losing yourself. Love yourself, love other people. It's what lets you love without losing yourself. Because you don't have to meet people in the chaos to prove that you care. You don't have to collapse to stay connected. You get to stay home and centered and one, and your chakras aligned and clear and flowing, and your meridians and your aura and all of those things, your auric field, your energetic field gets to stay clean, and you get to feel at home in your own body and then love from that perspective. So one thing that I want to give you here is that, I've given you a fuck ton, right? Like there's so much to just chew on, right? And to hold on to here, because I know that this is resonating like nobody's business. Because I know that my listeners are a lot like me. Think of your self, your soul, your auric field, meridian points, your this space. Okay, your auric field's 6 feet from you, all the way into your energetic center, your chakra center, and your meridians. All everything is connected. It's all energy within you and outside of you and into the universe, right? So think of all of that I just described as a castle. Okay. And inside the doors of the castle is like just the main space in the main room. But your throne room is its own space where only specific people that you choose get access. See, the biggest thing that I've had to learn over the last 5 months is everyone does not get automatic access to my throne room and space. Everybody that's close to me doesn't just automatically get to sit at my throne and be near me because they are the closest people to me. No. It's not an automatic. It is not a given. I get to choose who sits next to me on my throne. Now, let me be clear. If I don't feel my partner is someone who I want next to me on the throne because of this and that, and that's a problem, okay? But they still don't get automatic access. The way I feel inside is what gives them that access. And if there's contention and distance and problems and cyclic and destruction going on, and ruptures and collapses and fights, and I don't feel seen, heard, and understood. They don't feel seen, heard, and understood. I'm scorched earth all the time. They're shut down all the time. That's not gonna be on my throne. That can't be there. So you push them out into the hallway. And if that's not far enough, then they go out into the castle. It's like, listen, it's energetics, by the way. This isn't like you look at them and go, oh, you're in the fucking castle now. Not even the motherfucking hallway. You pissed me off today. It's not that, right? It's an energetic pushback. Sometimes it's a conversation like, we need to take a break. We're separated until, further notice. I need to work on me. You need to work on you. Sometimes those are those conversations, but you don't have to kick them out into the grounds, right? You could kick them to the castle, like just the main foyer, right? Maybe it's just right now. Maybe it's just today. Okay, I'm going to actually just ask you to step out into the hall, like energetically, right? Move them back because you guys both need a little bit of space. I want you to start thinking of your throne like people who get to sit on the throne, be in the throne room. It's like, by the castle gates, at the castle doors, into the foyer, into the hallway, into the throne room, at the fucking throne. I want you to think of it like that. Now, please don't get me wrong. This isn't about like, you ain't good enough for me, like sort of, I'm better than you sort of attitude. That's not what the fuck we're talking about here. We're talking about energetics. We're talking about what makes you feel good, lights you up. It's music to your soul. It's nourishing. It's yummy. It's like, fuck yes, I want this. When you have a connection and a relationship with someone, and it feels like that 90% of the time, for most of the time, and there's points in life where it goes down and up, you feel me, right? Then yeah, those are the people, and you can feel yumminess and nourishment from friends, right? And family. Who's sitting at the throne with you? Who are you putting there? I had to remove everybody from my throne, kick them all the way out to the fucking castle gates. And not in a conversation. And some of them, yeah, fuck that, And then other ones, I didn't ever have a conversation. I just energetically moved them there. I pulled myself back and I took some time to figure out who is going to be there. Is it anybody in my current life? Is it a complete start over? Is it one person? Is it two people? Is it multiple people? What is my feedback mechanism to move them into my throne? It's how the fuck I feel. And just because I have one good moment or one good day, they don't just automatically get pulled into the throne. It's consistency of me knowing that they're someone who can hold me, that they have a container for us, that they're going to hold their side and I'm going to hold my side of that container, and we're going to pour into it. And when they need me, I'm going to hold them. And when I need them, they're going to hold me. And they're not going to take from me and start fucking talking about themselves and making it all about them. They're going to hold that space, and I'm going to feel held and honored and valued and respected in that container. Those are the people who sit next to me on the throne. You don't get to sit next to me on the throne if every time I talk to you, you turn it into being about you. I don't get time for that space to be about me. I don't get honored in this dynamic, in this container that we have. You're not going to be at my throne, but you might be a fucking phenomenal person that I really do value in my life, that I'm close to, that, for the most part, other than maybe those moments, I really love you there. Okay, you might not be sitting at my throne, but you'll be in my throne room. And it's like, yeah, I mean, your advice isn't the best. I don't really, maybe you're going to be in the hallway. You got to decide what that looks like and feels like for you, and how you're moving people closer into those spaces and further away energetically. And like I said, and sometimes actually talking to them. But first and foremost, it's about being home in your own body, and then loving from that space, feeling from that space. And it does take time to know who should be with you in your throne, at your throne. Where do they sit? Where are these people at? Allow your feelings, allow them to flow. Love from your grounded motherfucking truth. Grounded truth, not high flying all over the place. With some of the things that I have been through and been dealing with lately, today was an extremely grounded truth for myself in multiple different conversations that I had. And I was standing in that bitch and nobody was fucking moving me. I used to be like this stubborn Taurus that was immovable. You couldn't teach me anything, couldn't tell me nothing. I knew everything, right? And now I'm always open to learn. Tony Robbins says, if you're not learning and growing, you're dying, right? And I'm definitely want to be learning and growing. So I'm open to alternate perspectives, even if I am really sound in what I know. However, I've realized when I'm going to barrel down and my stubbornness, you're not going to move me. And today there were conversations that I had, multiple different ones that I had, that you weren't going to move me. You weren't going to change my mind. You weren't going to have me see this from a different perspective. You weren't going to teach me something today. I wasn't teachable today. I was at a state of, I've listened. I've been calm. I've had that love and light and peace. I've done what I felt like was best in every situation. And now I'm immovable. This is now where I am at. This is how I feel. These are all my perspectives, not just the emotional one. Here's all the perspectives that I see and the impacts from all the different angles. And this is what I know I will need to do for me, depending on what happens, based on all these different things, right? And these different conversations. I had multiple conversations today where I was immovable because I made the choice. No. I've already done those other things and I'm still here. So this is how I'm moving now. Always, always, always anchor in returning to your body when you want to run. If you have the urge to run, meaning retreat, avoid, go into distraction, shut down, go silent, anchor in your body. And don't allow yourself to run because you'll be running from yourself. Let your emotions speak, not scream or not go silent. Let them speak. That's that throat chakra, right? Rise in stillness, rise in strength, rise in softness. All of it is needed. And if there's a moment you need to go scorched earth, you'll know because you've already been in the stillness, the strength, and the softness. And whatever it is isn't resolved, or it's still repetitive. The lessons weren't learned. Okay, well, coming from a different position, right? Respond in rhythm. And this is why I have the rhythm program, because your your nervous system regulation, your energy alignment, and your soul rhythm, these three things work together to harmonize your entire fucking life. Balance, really, not even harmonize, balance your life. And if you've been in my world for a long time, you know I hate using the word balance because life isn't balanced. But I swear to God, when you do these three things, when you have these three things in sync, you feel balanced. Even if something rocks you, you can easily make a decision that realigns you, and that's the most empowering. So you need to respond in rhythm. But if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to do the nervous system regulation and the energy alignment, and so that you can have your soul rhythm, that's what the rhythm program is for. That's why I created it. We dive deep into this, and we're in 2 weeks of each of these things for 6 weeks. And you're like, life is an automatic practical application. You'll automatically have opportunities to practice the things that you learn in the rhythm program that teach you what you need to do and how to that show you, okay, here's your opportunity to apply this thing. And it's so straightforward that it's not something that, oh my God, I got to study this forever so that I know to do it. It's all based on energetics. And when you learn this, you're fucking unstoppable. You can be at your highest level of happy within yourself, even if life around you looks like a fucking complete dumpster fire, right? Anchor before you act. Protect the container with your presence and regulate so that the connection stays intact. And ask yourself these questions. What do I reach for when I feel too much? What do I reach for when I feel too much? Is it food? Is it a substance? Is it binge watching? Is it a book? Is it doom scrolling? What do you reach for when you feel too much? What would regulation feel like in my body today? What would regulation feel like in my body today? It's very important that you know what regulation feels like or would feel like, so that way you know when you're dysregulated, when your nervous system is dysregulated. And where have I confused silence with safety or stillness with suppression? Where have I confused silence with safety or stillness with suppression? And declare this. My emotions are portals to my power. I rise in regulation. Embody this. Choose yourself so completely that nobody gets to question your worth again. Extend to your soul the same mercy you once gave away to people who fucking dropped it. And stop shrinking to be chosen by people who can't even hold you. You're not a placeholder, you're the fucking revolution. So show up, speak up, and burn the damn box. I'm Power Coach Alishia, and this is your invitation to rise.